Hi, welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial I will show you how you can make a custom window for your Sprite Collider Generator tool. So it comes with the default Sprite Collider Generator window, but for this tutorial I actually want to show you how you can implement your own check functions for your sprites. So for this I'm actually gonna show you what we're gonna make. So let me drag this image in here. What we're gonna make in this tutorial is a color generator. Now what this color generator allows us to do is put in a target game object and a sprite, and it allows us to select a color. For example, let's select this blue color right here and generate based on a color. Now we also have a range which allows us to mark the range for the color. As you can see in this one, it's actually gonna take out that blue color we selected and circle it out. If we increase the range, it's gonna select some more stuff, some more, and some more. Now as you notice, it's actually also selecting the green one, and also you can see in the preview down here is that it's going from black to white, or it looks like it's going from black to white. Actually, it's going from blue, dark blue, to light blue, but it only ranges from the two colors on the outside. So that's why you see that as a black and white thing. But you'll see how it works if we open up the script. So let's open up the script. Let's show it in an Explorer and just open it up with the tool I'm using. I'm using Visual Studio for that. And we're gonna make this from scratch, by the way, so don't you worry, you're actually gonna go over the full creation process of this. Let's close this off and remove the script in a bit. I'm just gonna show you how it's actually done. So what we're gonna need is like initial functions and on GUI stuff, and actually pretty simple to implement the color checks. Alright, I'm actually not gonna remove it just now because we can look it up like later, because I'm not gonna show you how you're gonna make the gradient. That's just something that you well, I'm gonna put it up later, but we're not gonna do that for this tutorial. So let's create a new C# script. Let's call this color window generator. Okay, now let's open that up. It might take a few seconds, that's kind of okay. In the meantime, I can actually just show you quickly how the texture is applied. So the gradient is just made by creating a new texture and applying the pixels that actually on a gradient value. So we got a color low, color high, and then a gradient that goes from 0 to 1 with the two colors in there. We're just gonna draw that. Alright, let's close this off and let's open up the new script that we got. Alright, so this is gonna be a editor, and for that we need the Unity editor, so implement that using that Unity editor. There we go. And let's remove this. Okay, first thing we need is like an option to open up the window. So you're gonna need a public static void for that. I like to call that init or initialize, just call init for now. And we're gonna make this a menu item. Menu item. Let me actually scale this up for you. Menu item. Name window / color window generator. And what we're going to do here is get window. Oops, this is actually going to be an editor window. Get window from the generic type of color window generator. And that should do it. You can actually reference this if you want, if you want to use it later on, but for now we just don't want it. So this is actually just going to open up the window, and that's going to do. So let's save this up. Let's see what it does. Re-import. Go into window. We actually got the color window generator, and it's just going to open up this window. without much in it. So let's change that up. Let's go and do the next step. So what we need for the editor window to work, we're gonna need a onGUI function. So let's go private void onGUI. Alright, there we go. Now what do we need for our color generator window? First off, we need a target to put our collider onto, and we need a sprite to track that. So let's start with our target. So for target equals, so we need a game object field, so that's going to be a game object or an object field. So GUI layout dot object field, GUI layout dot editor GUI layout dot object field, and let's make that string target. The object type is going to be actually you're going to need this outside the window, so we're going to make this a normal var, put it out here. Let's put it down here. Private game object target. Type of it should be type of game object. Allow Unity scene objects. Well, yes, let's do that. Alright. So this doesn't work because the object field actually returns a object, so we need to cast that. Now we are sure that it's actually going to be a game object, so we can just cast that in front of this like that, and there we go. So let's save that up. Let's look at it again, see what we got now. So now we got the target window. Now we can just drop it in there, or take it from the asset list as well, though we don't have any game objects in there, but that works. Alright, let's keep it open for now. Let's go to our next step. That's going to be the sprite. So let's make a sprite for this as well. Private sprite equals, so for this one I'm actually going to use the same. So what you can do is copy this, change the name and the type. Let's call this sprite. This is a sprite, and the type of sprite. Okay. Then we actually got the sprite field in here. I think we didn't save that. There we go. We got a sprite field in there now, so we can actually select anything from this. That's good. And well, you don't need to change this because you can't put a sprite into your scene, but we can put it to false just in case. Okay. Then next up, what do we want? We need to have a button to generate our collider. So that's one of the most important things that we're going to need, is the function to generate the collider. So what we're going to do here is, let's make a button. So for button equals GUI layout dot button. Let's name it generate. And if the button is pressed, if button, we're gonna generate. Now the function that comes from this is actually in the Sprite Collider Generator dot generator and dot generate. So for this we need a game object, a sprite, a predicate with a color, and some other parameters you can fill in if you want or not. Fill holes, convex option. So we got our game object, that's target. So let's put target in here. Sprite is gonna be sprite, and our predicate is actually the thing that we want to look at. That's actually the most important thing. So let's create a method for that. Let's call it color lookup. Let's return false for now. And let's see, do we want to fill holes? No. Do we want to make it convex? Well, let's make it not convex. Though if you want, you can do either full convex, no convex, or the path convex. So for this, we're just going to leave it at the same values. So that's false and convex none. Don't need to put those in if you want, but they're already defined. So there we go. So this is the most important thing right here. So what it does is actually gonna give you the color of each pixel, and then you want to return whether that pixel is solid or not. So what we're gonna do here is like we want to have a color to check against. So let's do that. Let's go make a private color and color equals editor GUI layout dot color field. Let's call this color and the field color. So now we have a color field that we can actually use to check or sprite against. So let's call this my color for now. There we go. And let's make it just see if my color is the same as color. If it's the same, it's actually gonna be generated. So let's look at this. This should works at some sort of state. So let's select red because we got kind of a good amount of red here, and let's generate. See what we're gonna get. Select it, generate. It doesn't really work. Now why does it not work? We put it all in pretty okay. Actually put it the sprite fine. Generate now. Because this one actually has an alpha value, it's also going to look at that value. Now we don't necessarily want that. Well, you can do that. If we go like this, actually should give you some sort of result already, but for some reason it doesn't do that. So I know from this texture that's actually pure white or pure red, but apparently the color picker actually doesn't go full red. So we're going to put that on 255, which is 100% red. Hit generate, and then we go. I actually got a color thing already. Now, so you want to go yellow. Let's actually look at this as well, because as you can see, this value is not correct just yet. So we're gonna go there and then put this on full yellow. If you go full yellow, you can see that only those points are actually full yellow in there. Though for your eyes, actually also like this is also yellow. So why is that not actually being calculated? So that's why we need a range for. First of all, I actually want to look at the alpha value, just a quick put that in there quickly. So we're gonna go private float alpha equals editor GUI layout dot let's make it a float slider. So it's gonna be a slider with alpha named. The left value, or the value is going to be alpha, the left value is 0, and the right value is going to be 1. So this will give me a slider which ranges from 0 to 1, which is based on the alpha. And for this we're going to need to use this, so let's make this a call equals color. And let's go call.a equals no wait, actually it's like call.a equals let's make it bigger or equals. If it's bigger or equals than what we have, we're gonna return that to true. So if it's smaller than what we give, it's gonna return false. So if that, we're gonna return false because it already doesn't fit just yet. And then we're gonna just look at this with a new color. Call.a equals my color.a. So we're actually going to look at the alpha first, see if that fits. If that doesn't fit, we're going to return it false, so it's not matching. Then we're going to set the color that we get to the color that we check against, so we can actually ignore the alpha for that, and then we're going to check the RGB channels. Okay, there we go. So that doesn't do much for us just yet, because it doesn't, well, it works, but as you can see, we actually just can't use this now. It doesn't really change the way it is. Well, it works at 0 and higher up, so that's good. So next thing we want to do is like put a range to our color. So let's do a private float range. This is going to be a float as well as going to be from 0 to 1. Let's make this range and range. Now this is a kind of a tricky part because it actually took me quite some time to actually understand how that worked. Because you want to look at the colors, at the RGB colors, and you want to go range this out. So if you go range a half, this should go to 1 to 8, and same for that, and this one should go to 1 to 8, from 0 to 1 to 8. So let me quickly look it up just so I don't make mistakes. So if you look at this, we're gonna check for all the separate channels, see if that's in range, and then we're gonna return that if that's actually in range. So let's do that. So we're gonna color. Let's start with alpha, that's fine, and then we're gonna check for the RGB channels. So for R equals col.R, and this is gonna be a bool. So we want to look if the color that we get, the red value, if that is actually if the value is bigger than my color.R minus range, and color.R is smaller than my color.R plus range. So say we're looking at the red channel only. So let's go red only. If our color lies between, say we're gonna do 50% range. 50% is from this to this plus additional stuff. So if it's this value, if your slider, if you put it at 50%, it's actually going from black to full red. If we only check the red channel, right? Though we also need to do that from this, for the R and for the B channel. So let's do that now. Let's copy this. Oops, let's copy that out. Paste it a few more times. Let's go green and blue. Let's change this really quickly. And then green, green, green. Oops, one more. There we go. And now we need to check if R and G and B, oh damn it, there we go, if R, G and B are all inside of the range that we are giving it. Alright, let's compile this again and let's look at this right now. Let's select our thing, let's hit generate. Oops, we actually got this. Let's hit generate. Now we're gonna pick the red color here, hit generate, and we gotta get this thing. If we lower the range, let's see what's going on. So I forgot to do this. Range should be also put in range. That's a problem. That's why it actually like follows the alpha channel there. A little mistake there, no problem. Alright, now it should be separate. And we got another error right down here. That's because I did Control S but without the control. Alright. And now it should be working fine. Alright. So alpha, whatever, doesn't leave it at a certain value. Let's compile. Right now it's actually not finding anything. Doesn't really change this, doesn't matter. Nope. So we are full red. If we hit generate, it's wrong. Now this happens because we actually do not check if it's equal. So what you can do, if you want, you can do this the other way around, like that. That allows you to actually also have the outside range of the values to be affected. So there we go. Now if we up the range on this, what you're gonna see is that it's actually gonna go inward and as well as gonna go in or outward from the middle. So what it does is just gonna grab the additional colors and put those in there as marked as well. So if you go full, you're actually gonna go all colors. So that's actually not what you want. Well, you got 4 points on the right. That's actually what you can do. So we're gonna go 075. I'm actually gonna get this range right there. So we got the red and we got orange. We don't got yellow because if we look at the thing here, we're actually gonna go up to the number 196. This is 75% of a color. So what it can go is it can go from this value, we can have this included as well as this value. This is the lower 25%. So this value should also be included, I think. Yeah, which is not, because this value is actually this. But that's not the case because we're coming from this red, so we can go to there, but not down there. So that's why the blue is not included in this one. Alright, there we go. This is actually the blue color we just selected. We're gonna get also some greens out there and some darker blues as well, because we actually went there. So if we go like put it at full 50% gray, generate, you're actually not gonna get anything because no color is actually in that range, because there should always be one at the full value with this image, because that's how this image is set up. It's actually going to has the image color range with a full 100% saturation. So if you look at this, we can go that, and then we go up. If you look at the values change, actually how this image is made up. Yeah, so that's it. That's how it works. And if you want, we can do the preview as well. Let's do that quickly in there. Let's copy it out from this one. So let's put this in. And so we got the color low, so we're gonna get the lower color value that we can get, which consists of the color minus range, G, RGB, and the plus as well. Then we're gonna make a gradient right here. This gradient is made up of a gradient with alpha keys and color keys, which has a low color at 0.0 and a high color at 0.1. And then we're gonna make a texture, set the colors, the pixel colors, and then apply that value and draw the texture. So if we copy this over, you can do this, you cannot do this, just pause the video if you want. I'm gonna zoom this out so you can actually see this. Pause the video if you wanna type this over and like see how it works. But for now I'm just gonna copy this over, put it down under the button and paste this. This is actually called my color, so let's change this quickly to color and my color, and range, same thing, range. Now I usually use underscores for private variables, so you can do that. Let's just make that right here. This is called alpha sprite and target. Now as you can see, I just use resharper to rename quickly. You can just go over all those names if you want, or just get the resharper as well. It's a pretty good tool, but it just quickly allows you to quickly like change names and all that stuff. So alright, let's see how it works right now, and should give us, yes, there we go. So now we can actually see the color range as well, so it goes from there up to this value. Alright, there we go. Hope you can continue with what you want to do with the collider. If you haven't seen the other video that explains the custom collider, you can do so by following the description link. And thanks for watching.